डेटा वेयरहाउसिङ र डेटा माइनिङको सेकेन्ड लेक्चर फेज सिरिजमा यहाँहरूलाई स्वागत छ। आज हामी युनिट 1 सुरु गर्दैछौँ। इन युनिट 1 देयर इज इन्ट्रोडक्सन टु डेटा वेयरहाउसिङ। Okay, now let's directly deep into life cycle of data life cycle. Okay, so as we knew from past, there is this butterfly life cycle, right? Life cycle means this is a continuous process. It does not stop, right? It begins with one place and it, let's say, continues just like butterfly. It begins with the journey begins with eggs, caterpillar, pupa, butterfly, and then again back to sea again lays the eggs, right? So this is a continuous process. So data life cycle is also a similar concept, right? Where we only deal with data warehouse and mining perspective part. Okay, data warehouse or mining perspective part. What is the life cycle of the data? Okay, people have several approaches to this. If you go on and search the text, there are several things, but in its essence, this is how it looks like, and this is the most impressive मेरो विचारमा सबैभन्दा राम्रो चाहिँ मलाई यो लाग्यो. सो यो चाहिँ कहाँबाट सुरु हुन्छ? Business understanding, and then data understanding, data preparation, modeling, evaluation, and deployment. All this thing is a continuous process. So this is the very outer ring denotes that this is a continuous process, and then the arrows show where it is the flow of the cycle. Okay, so business understanding, let's start off with that. Let's suppose that we have a now we need to understand if we are doing our let's say data mining for a e-commerce website. Let's suppose that e-commerce website ma now we need to understand how that business operates. What kind of e-commerce system is, if यो दराज हो कि अथवा यो फुडमान्डो हो कि, राइट, अथवा यो राइट कुनै land selling e-commerce हो कि. So what kind of information, what kind of business is there, we need to understand that. Then we need to understand what kind of data is there, हैन. डेटा चाहिँ कस्तो छ त्यहाँ अथवा कस्तो चाहिन्छ हामीलाई हाम्रो माइनिङ पर्पसको लागि, राइट? So the next phase is data understanding. Then comes data preparation. We need to, let's say, maybe collect data from here and there. We need to maybe transform that data. We need to do a lot of other tasks in data preparation phase. Then comes the actual work called modeling, data modeling, where the actual stuff happens, right? Actual mining happens. Then comes evaluation. What does that model give us? त्यसले कस्तो खाले प्याटर्न दियो अथवा त्यसले कस्तो खाले रिजल्ट दियो, त्यसले कस्तो खाले इन्फर्मेसन अथवा नलेज हामीलाई सेयर गर्यो. Okay, that comes in the evaluation phase. If it is presentable, if it is not presentable, what kind of let's say accuracy छ कि छैन. So all this thing, and यदि त्यसले हाम्रो बिजनेस निड फुलफिल गरेको छ, हाम्रो डाटा माइनिङ objectiveलाई fulfill गर्छ भने it is ready to be deployed. Otherwise we need to reassess that. But sometimes it may branch out to both. For example, data ठिक छ पनि, but it needs more optimization, but it needs to be viewed from another angle, right? So evaluation phase पछि we may or may not deploy that, but it will certainly go to business understanding, back to business understanding, and then again let's say we will loop in that cycle, right? So data life cycle. Okay, let's go through the text. Business understanding, this is initial phase, as we said, focuses on understanding the project objectives and requirements, right? Then the business also त्यो business perspective बाट we let's say we view that what is there, right? के छ त्यहाँ, what do we need, हैन, त्यो बिजनेसलाई के चाहिन्छ, and we formulate a data mining problem definition. अब हामीलाई चाहिँ okay, maybe we need a recommendation algorithm, right? Maybe we need to come up with some decision trees. Maybe we may need to implement some kind of a, let's say, business support, for example, spam filtering, right? Or any kind of other mining solution, data mining solution लगाएर achieve any goal. It may come from that. A preliminary plan is designed to achieve the objectives. A decision model, especially one built using a decision model and notation standard, can be used. Okay. Next comes data understanding. The data understanding phase starts with an initial data collection and proceeds with activities in order to get familiar with the data. Okay, to identify quality problems, to discover first insights into the data, or to detect interesting subsets from hypothesis for hidden information. Okay, so there are a couple of things to note here. It starts with initial data collection, but then proceeds with activities in order to get familiar with the data. Okay, then it also deals with if we have any data quality problems, and it's सुरुमै थाहा हुनु पर्यो, right? So at that stage सुरुमै थाहा हुनु पर्यो. And then to discover the first insights into the data, so very first insights into the data, we'll let's say discover that in this phase of data understanding. Or to detect interesting subsets to form hypothesis for hidden information. Okay, interesting. Now comes data preparation for modeling, and the model garnu bhanda agadi. So maybe there is this model which takes data in some format. Maybe we may need to refine that model, let's say data. Maybe there is some noise in that data, we may need to remove those, and so on and so forth, right? So data preparation, the data preparation phase covers all activities to construct the final data set that will be fed into the modeling tool or tools, right, from the raw initial data. Okay, data preparation tasks are likely to be performed multiple times and not only in any prescribed order. Tasks include table record and attribute selection, as well as transformation and cleaning of data for modeling tools. Okay, moving on to modeling. So this is the core of, or the, let's say, center of the life cycle of data. So modeling, in this phase, various modeling techniques are selected and applied, and the parameters are calibrated to optimal values. Okay, there are a couple of things here. Modeling techniques are implemented, right, and then their parameters are calibrated to optimal values. Okay, typically there are several techniques for the same data mining problem type. एउटा मात्रै problem, for example classification मात्रै भनेको छ भने पनि there are several techniques, there are several ways to reach at that point. Okay, some techniques have specific requirements on the form of data. As I said earlier, to data preparation मै हामीलाई थाहा हुनुपर्छ कि ओके यो मोडलिङ टेक्निकले यस्तो खाले डेटा लिन्छ, यो मोडलिङ टेक्निकले यस्तो फर्ममा डेटा लिन्छ. So that phase, therefore it is often required to step back to the data preparation phase. Okay, evaluation, another important step. At this stage in the project, you have built a model or models that appears to have high quality from a data analysis perspective. Okay, before proceeding to final deployment of the model, it is important to evaluate the model thoroughly and review the steps executed to construct the model to be certain it properly achieves the business objectives. Okay, clear so far? The key objective is to determine if there is some important business issue that has not been sufficiently considered in the model. Okay, model ma to sufficiently consider bhayo ki bhayen, we need to consider that. Maybe we need to consider, okay, what kind of let's say which problems did it satisfy, or which did not, and business problem or like. So the last line, it says, at the end of this phase, a decision on the use of the data mining results should be reached. Okay, should it be deployed, should it not be deployed, or what, or should it be deployed, and also let's say these things could be optimized, right? So the last phase is deployment phase. Creation of the model is generally not the end of the project, even if the purpose of the model is to increase knowledge of the data. The knowledge gained will need to be organized and presented in a way that is useful to customers. So now maybe that model will predict certain things, or let's say classify certain things, or they say come up with some form of result that will be helpful to the user. So it needs to be presented to the customer, or let's say deployed in the production. Okay, this was one of the, let's say, comprehensive data lifecycle that I found. Some other perspectives study the, so this is from another alternative model of the same data lifecycle. In its essence is the same, right? It's study the concept, data collection, data processing, data distribution, data discovery, data analysis, which may again go back to repurposing, and then this is a cycle. Okay, and in data processing also archiving, and then distribution also would be a small little cycle over here. So this came from DDI Alliance Structural Reform Group back in 2004. You can look at this paper. I'll give the description description link. And then this is something about the same this thing. I don't think it is very important to us. So another अर्को मैले के भेटाएँ भन्दाखेरि, so there was this another big data life cycle मा पनि, so in its core same हो, in its essence the essence is the same, but they, let's say, but they are looking from a big data perspective, right? Big data perspective बाट हेर्दाखेरि first business problem definition, okay, then researching into the data, and so we can, let's say, it is similar to our phase of data understanding, and then human resources assessment, something new, because maybe we are dealing with big data, maybe there are multiple of the problems, and there needs to be multiple teams around, right? So human resource assessment, data acquisition, data munging, data storage, same processes, right? Collection and refactoring, and collection गर्ने, त्यसलाई मिलाउने, त्यसलाई transformation गर्ने, त्यसलाई noise फाल्ने, and then त्यसलाई storage राख्ने, and then only exploratory data analysis, data preparation for modeling and assessment, modeling, and then finally implementation. Okay, this is from a separate perspective. So our next video will be types of data, but data lifecycle को लागि चाहिँ यति नै छ. So we'll meet in the next video. Thank you.